or we draw a conclusion. Okay, so we're looking, just like remember the warm-up reading we did last time on the Black Death? You remember that, the play? One of the questions asked you, can you make an inference? Right, that means can you find the hidden meaning using clues? Okay, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to find clues. Right? So what does it mean to draw a conclusion? A conclusion just means you made some kind of decision about what you're reading. Like you figured out what the writer is trying to say. Right? Because a lot of times the writer doesn't like to come out and just say it. Okay? Because the author does not always tell you everything directly. You have to figure some things out for yourself. But that's why reading is so fun. Because you have to play detective, right? You know what a detective does? What do they do?
Fighting.
Yeah, they're fighting crime, solving crime, right? So they have to look for clues. So you gotta do the same thing. But that's why a lot of people love to read, because it makes you think, right? Okay, so use clues from the reading like a detective, okay, and then you make a smart guess based on the clues. Okay, we call this an inference. So if you ever hear that word like infer or make an inference, all that means is guess. Guess what the writer's trying to say. Right? So step one, you look for clues. So pay attention to like details that seem important. It could be words, actions, okay, or a description. And then ask yourself, what is the author showing us, but they're not saying directly to us, right? So here's an example. Maria's hands shook as she stood in front of the class. Her voice was soft and she looked down at her notes. So what are the clues? Maria's hands are shaking. Her voice is very soft. And she's looking down. Okay? Based on the clues, what is the guess we can make? Maria's feeling what?
Nervous.
Nervous to speak in front of the class. Okay, but the writer's not saying, oh, Maria was nervous speaking in front of the class. It's our job to figure out, right, what the author's trying to say about Maria. Right? The second step is, after you find clues, think about what you already know. Okay? So use your own experiences, like things you experienced in your life, to help you understand what's going on. Okay, so here's an example. Jose put on sunscreen and carried a beach towel. In your experience, when you carry you have sunscreen and a beach towel, where are you going? To the beach, right? That's why you need a towel. So think about what you know. People use sunscreen at the beach or when it's sunny, right? And he's carrying a towel, so I put Jack, but I put Jose there. So Jose is going to the beach where it's sunny, where there might be water, because that's why you need a towel, right? He's not going to the park or the playground. He doesn't need a towel, right? At the playground, right? So you got to use those things. So the last step is look at the clues, think about what you already know, then you make your conclusion. You draw your conclusion, you make your guess. Okay? So here's an example. Ava yawned, rubbed her eyes, and kept checking the clock. So here's the clues. She's yawning, she's rubbing her eyes, she's checking the clock, right? What do you know? When people yawn, what does that mean?
Tired.
They're tired, right? When you're checking the clock, what does that mean? Keep checking it. You keep checking the clock.
You want to go home.
You want to go home. You might be waiting for something to finish. You might be waiting for someone, right? So that's a good guess. That's a good conclusion. Ava's tired and she's waiting for something to happen. Maybe she's waiting for class to end, right? Okay, and then step 4, always check your guess, your conclusion, against the reading. Reread the reading and see if it makes sense, okay? And if something doesn't fit, look for more clues later on in the reading. Right, so here's an example. It was the middle of summer, and Sarah put on her heavy jacket. So is this conclusion, okay, Sarah's feeling hot then? Does that make sense? It's the middle of summer, and she put on a thick jacket, a heavy jacket. So if I say she's feeling hot, does that make sense? No, that's the wrong conclusion. The correct conclusion would be maybe even though it's the middle of summer, she might be going somewhere cold. Like where? What do you know? What are some cold places? We live in Guam, it's hot all the time, but we wear jacket. You're wearing a hoodie, you're wearing a jacket. Where do we wear? Maybe to a classroom that's cold. What else?
Library.
Could be the library that's cold, right? Anywhere else that's cold?
Nurse.
Nurse's
Coffee.
office. Anywhere not on campus that's cold.
Store.
The store? The store? Oh, Payless.
Payless.
Payless is cold. Good. The movie theater.
Yes.
Always bring a jacket. So always use what you know, right, to kind of help you figure out, okay, maybe Sarah is just going to the movie theater. Maybe she's going to Payless. Maybe she's going to class, right? Okay, so let's try like short passages. Okay, Jason's stomach growled, it's making noise, and he kept looking at the clock. What is Jason thinking about?
He's hungry.
He's hungry, and why is he looking at the clock? What is he waiting for?
For lunch.
Lunch.
For lunch. How about this? Emily walked outside, and her hair and clothes were soaked. Soaked. Rain water. What happened to Emily? It's raining outside. She got caught in the rain. No umbrella. Okay, because soaked means you're just covered in water, right? How about this? Jaden's soccer team cheered and hugged each other after the game.
They won.
What happened? They won. They won the game. That's why they're cheering, hugging each other. You don't go yay and hug each other if you lost. Well, maybe that's okay. You have good. You have good team spirit.
Good game.
You're a good sport. Right? You can cheer for the other team. Right? Okay, let's look at this one a little bit longer. Anna grabbed her jacket and ran to the bus stop. She looked at her phone and saw the time. She sighed and started walking slowly back home. What happened?
She was late
Late to what?
To
for
school.
the bus stop.
For the bus. Okay? How do you think she feels? She's sighing. She's going.
Upset.
But based on all this, how does she?
Upset.
She might be upset.
Depressed.
Might be depressed because she missed the bus. Okay, does that make sense? Is it too easy?